And this is Last Chance Surgery. Tonight, the story that will completely change the way you look at everyone you love.
You gotta get on with life.
Chené is just 17 and has a brain tumour that is killing her.
It's the worst cancer known to mankind. You know, there's no other deadlier cancer.
There is one hope, a bold and daring operation with no guarantees. In a month, 20-year-old Jesse will be in a wheelchair.
I think it's almost certain that he will become paralysed.
He desperately needs a rare 18-hour operation, his last chance to walk again. When Chené was born 17 years ago, she didn't have a care in the world.
She was an adorable child. She's just so fun, always into activities and things, and she was just a beautiful little child. She's just fun to be with.
Chené's a country girl. She was raised surrounded by bush, and it's no surprise she talked of being a Jillaroo. But the little girl grew up, and so did her dreams, and she began to train as a hairdresser.
People would say to you that you can't get a word in around Chené, and that is so true.
Then one day, without any warning, any reason, Chené's life began to crumble.
It all started when she was at the hairdressing school on a Tuesday. She rang up her mother and told her that she had a headache.
The headache never went away. In fact, it got worse. And nothing could ever prepare Chené and her family for what they would hear.
They did do an MRI and found that she had a tumour.
It is hard. Very hard.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's deadly.
The tumour that's killing Chené is called a GBM.
They're surgically incurable. They spread their tentacles throughout the brain. They are rapidly growing and they affect young people. What more do you want to know? I mean, it's just, they're just terrible.
For Chené, it unbelievably gets even worse because of where it is. It's in a part of the brain Dr. Charlie Teo refers to as the soul. Now that says it all. Every aspect of living comes from here, feeling hungry or being tired, and memory.
She can barely get up and walk. She struggles. She can't do even cleaning her teeth. She has to ask what to do.
I forget a lot of things and stuff about my hairdressing and everything. Yeah.
That soul is deep in the brain, and to get to the tumour, doctors would have to be centimetres deep in Chené's head. That's why no surgeon would operate. It's just too dangerous. Chené's dad wouldn't accept that. He hunted for a specialist who would even consider operating and found Dr. Charlie Teo.
We're going to see him today and talk to him and see what he can do for me. And I've got some questions to ask him. So if he can make me better or if it's going to be worse.
In just 4 weeks, 20-year-old Jesse will never stand or walk again.
If he doesn't have surgery, I think it's almost certain that he will become paralysed, and I suspect that could be within a month or two.
Jesse has been through hell in his short life. At 17, he got testicular cancer.
The first round of chemotherapy had conventionally a 95% success rate. And basically for Jesse it turned out to be he fitted into the 5% that didn't.
Then he had massive surgery on a tumour in his abdomen the size of a football. Now you'd think that's enough. But then Jessie was hit again.
I was working in the garden and some grass sacks filled with grass which the mowers use. I lifted one of those to carry down to the other end of my yard. And all seemed fine, and the next day I started experiencing terrible pain in my back.
The first sign that the cancer was back. This is what's really happening in Jessie's spine. A tumour is eating away the vertebrae, and the cancer is pushing on the spinal cord. If the spinal cord is permanently damaged, Jessie will never walk again.
All right, anyway, I got it.
Surgery is the only way to save Jessie, and one of only a few doctors in Australia who can do this operation is Professor Bill Watkins.
This sort of surgery is not common surgery, and there aren't a lot of surgeons who do this type of thing. It's in the top of what's called the lumbar spine. That's just below your chest region. The tumour has weakened the vertebrae, and they're just slowly giving way.
It's one of the most dangerous spinal operations, because to get that tumour out, Professor Watkins is going to be just millimetres away from Jessie's spinal cord.
So you'll have to take things gently over the cord.
If that cord is damaged, he's paralysed.
I think Jessie's been through an awful lot. It must be very hard to contemplate having yet another major operation when you've nearly died.
I know anything could happen to me any day, that it could be my last day on my legs.
The operation is Jessie's only chance. Jessie is just 20, and in weeks he will be in a wheelchair.
If he doesn't have surgery, I think it's almost certain that he will become paralysed, and I suspect that could be within a month or two.
He has a tumour in his spine that has eaten away at his vertebrae, and his whole spine is about to collapse. But Jessie has a last chance. It's rare surgery, and it's so huge it's going to take 18 hours. 2 parts. First, screws will be put in. Now they will stabilise the spine. Then surgeons can get the tumour and what's left of the vertebrae out. But then those vertebrae are going to have to be replaced with metal and a cage filled with real bone from Jessie's hip. But the operation's even more dangerous because Professor Watkins will be working so close to Jessie's spinal cord.
We hope this is going to be the final chapter for Jessie, and we don't see any reason why it shouldn't be.
Chené is a reminder that life is just too short. She's 17 and has the worst kind of brain tumour known to man. It's out of control and it's deadly.
Brain tumours act in really funny ways. Sometimes they grow so fast they can double in size in a day. Yeah, they have been known to double in size in 16 hours.
Without surgery, she will die, and within weeks. Every other surgeon has told Chené they won't operate. But she has one hope, and it totally depends on neurosurgeon Dr. Charlie Teo. She is about to learn if he will give her last chance surgery.
So just excuse me while I just look through this scan. This is the tumour right here. You can start to see that darker area surrounded by the white area, the rim of white tissue. The worst thing about this tumour is its location. Well, there's 2 bad things about it. You know, the type of tumour it is bad, and the location is bad as well. So you can see why it's so hairy, because it's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Devastating, yeah, very upsetting. It's just something that you don't expect on your daughter. It just blows you away when it happened. It just was just frightening.
I would never, ever want any mother to go through this.
It's the worst cancer known to mankind. You know, there's no other deadlier cancer. No one survives them, everyone dies, and they usually die within a year. And that's with full aggressive treatment, including surgery, chemo, radiotherapy, the whole 9 yards we throw at them. You know, I'm prepared to do surgery. I think it'll give you your best chance possible. I think it's probably your only chance of long survival. But it may come at a huge price, and it may not even guarantee it. We can talk about the risk of your surgery because it's already starting to affect some very vital things like memory and level of consciousness. I think the risk is extremely high. I think you're looking at almost 100% risk that you are going to get something going wrong, and probably about a 15 to 20% risk that that thing that goes wrong could be devastating. You know, being a vegetable, not waking up, being a persistent coma, bilateral paralysis, you know, both arms, both legs, I mean, just something terrible. So to do nothing sounds terrible, but some people choose to do nothing. You know, the pro of option one is no pain or suffering of surgery, you know, no risk of surgery, and the obvious con of option one is that you will die very quickly.
At the moment, I think she's on the fence. She doesn't know which way to go, and I don't think I can sort of persuade her to go my way or the other way, you know. And I don't really want to too much. I want to sort of stand back a bit, but that hurts me even more. I want to sort of tell her all these things, and I don't want to cloud her judgment, you know. I still think it's a positive thing, but as I said again, it's her decision, what she wants to do.
This is 9.5 out of 10. This is terrible. She's 17 years old. She's the age of my daughter. It'd be so hard to just, I don't know if I could, as a father, I don't know if I could just let my daughter die without trying everything.
Jesse is only 20, and without the extremely dangerous operation he is about to have, he will become paralysed in just weeks. His surgeon, Professor Bill Watkins, is one of the few doctors who can do this massive surgery.
These are the vertebrae that we're going to take out. These are the ones that have been destroyed by the tumour. And as we start to take these vertebrae out from here, it's going to make his spine or his whole body very wobbly.
The large tumour needs to come out, and then surgeons need to put Jesse's spine back together. But that's not all. They need to do all that without damaging Jesse's spinal cord. So first, they'll do a scan in the operating theatre. Now that's going to be used to tell surgeons where they can put in the metal screws that will stabilise Jesse's spine.
So this tells me I can go straight in at that point, which looks pretty well ideal. These are the screws that are going to hold Jesse together until the bone sets.
So the screws are in, and now Professor Watkins can attack the tumour. To do that, he has to drill through Jesse's spine. Now this is the dangerous part, because at the moment, Professor Watkins is less than a millimetre away from going straight into Jesse's spinal cord.
Just kind of feel your way. I can feel bone, and as soon as we get through the bone, just onto the soft part, and you kind of back off at that point. There's no other way to really do it.
The careful drilling takes about an hour. Then finally, the tumour and the damaged vertebrae can come out.
That's the end of it. Sure it's been causing a bit of trouble. So that's the disc at the top end, I think, between 11 and 12. This is muscle with tumour in it, out here around it. There's a normal-looking sort of lumbar disc between L2 and L3. And that's in the passageway where the spinal cord was running along in there. Anyway, it's gone now.
That's stage one, but there's at least 9 hours of operating still to go. Jesse's spine is in 2 parts. Surgeons need to put him back together.
So what we're going to do now, having taken the tumour out, is to reconstruct the spine.
Jesse's new spine will be made up of metal and real bone. First, They're going to need to hold Jesse's spine in place with rods.
This thing here is going to grab that screw and pull it up onto the rod. So you can do anything with levers.
Once the metal's there, they can put in the bone graft.
So have you got a cage there? So Rod's stuffed that cage full of bone graft.
Now that's bone from Jesse's hip, and it's the perfect substance to grow into what's left of Jesse's original spine.
So that's the cage there now. Down through, in place it's bearing up against the bone of the vertebra. I think that's really well applied. I think that'll be a winner. So that's a wrap. Thank you very much.
After 18 hours, Professor Watkins is exhausted, but he's relieved. The cancerous tumour is out. What no one knows is whether there's been any damage and if Jessie is going to be able to walk again. Jesse has spent much of his young life here, in his garden, with his animals. That was until he got a tumour in his spine, and doctors warned without surgery he would never walk again. He bravely endured 18 hours of operating, where surgeons got the tumour out and reconstructed his spine, using metal and a cage filled with bone. It was 1 a.m. when Professor Watkins wrapped up. Less than 6 hours later, and he's back to check on Jessie.
Jessie? Jessie? You awake? Good. No, you're not. Okay. Jessie, wiggle your toes up and down. That's the way. Wiggle them again.
To us, it doesn't look like much, but that little wriggle is just what Professor Watkins wanted to see. If he'd damaged Jessie's spinal cord during the surgery, he just wouldn't be able to do that.
Thank you. He seems comfortable in there. He's a young chap and he's obviously pretty fit in terms of his ability to withstand a major trauma. So it was a pretty major trauma he had yesterday.
I'm feeling absolutely stoked this morning when we've heard the news and how successful it went and how good it's been.
But like any mum and dad, they just want to see their son for themselves.
We've been incubating some quails and they hatched last night. So I'll just tell him because he's been anxious about those quails at home.
Jessie.
How are you, Jessie? Good. The quails hatched. The quails hatched. Got three little chicks. Doing well. He did really well. When I see Jesse sedated and he's not responding, I first thought naturally has something happened to him. I know it's not true, but your emotions take over and you start to think this and that and the worst, even though logically you know it's not so.
Jesse will be kept like this, sedated, for 4 days. After that, he will try to walk again. Chené is about to make the biggest decision of her life. In just 5 weeks, she's gone from being carefree to cared for.
It's been a whirlwind. The 5 weeks has just been absolutely overwhelming. Suddenly your life consists of doctors and tablets and appointments and hospitals and sad things happening all around you.
Chené's life is being taken by the worst kind of brain tumour we know.
You gotta get on with life. Yeah.
Chené knows she's dying.
I think the risk is extremely high. I think you're looking at almost 100% risk that you are going to get something going wrong, and probably about a 15 to 20% risk that that thing that goes wrong could be devastating.
Dr. Charlie Teo has laid it on the line. If he operates, she may get more time, but she could also die on the operating table. That's if he operates. If the tumour has grown too quickly, it may already be too late for Chené. So Dr. Teo orders an urgent, up-to-date scan to see exactly what deadly mess he is dealing with and if he is still prepared to offer surgery.
Look, essentially this tumour looks about the same as it did 3 weeks ago. It's actually very favourable for her. It's not growing rapidly. Although it is growing, it is bigger, and there seems to be more swelling around it. It's certainly understandable that her memory's getting worse and she's getting worse from the look of this.
Chené has hope and a last chance. Dr. Teo is still prepared to operate, to give Chené a longer life. But even if he goes in, she might not be better off. She has to make a decision no one should ever have to face. Next week, Jesse's moment of truth.
He's got enormous courage. Yeah.
Will he walk again? And Chené's brave life or death decision.
I wish it was me.
An incredibly brave decision.
What would you do?